Are you thinking about retiring here to Las Vegas in Nevada and you've seen all the positives, all the reasons why it could work for you? In this video, I'm going to give you some of the reasons why you might want to reconsider retiring to Las Vegas and maybe why it won't work for you. And then at least you have a balanced opinion of it all and you can make what's most important is the right decision for you. And we're going to go into the first point right now. So the first reason is going to be the gambling culture. Obviously, Vegas is known for its casinos and its great entertainment. If you're retiring here and you're going to have all of this free time and maybe your plan is to live off your pension and that's a set income, you need to think if you'll be able to go to the casino and enjoy those sort of things. And if you do go to them, maybe setting yourself a limit so that you don't get too carried away, end up losing quite a lot of your money, because I've seen it happen before of all ages, whether it is a retiree or a younger generation person, whatever the circumstances. I've seen too many people come to this city and get caught up in the casinos and chasing that win, chasing that adrenaline, and it never comes. Even when you win, essentially you've probably paid more money into that casino, unless you're super lucky and you're going to win on your first times, then maybe that's a different story. But overall, even when you have a decent sized win, you've probably paid more money into that casino than you're getting back in the grand scheme of things. Yes, it's fun. Yes, it can give you that adrenaline rush, but that quickly fades away. And my concern would be is if you're retiring here, then you're going to have this free time, you're going to have this set income, the bright lights of the casinos, and just the joy of just putting money in the slots or playing some card games. That could be an unhealthy distraction is what I would say. So I would say if that could be a potential upset for you and potentially something that could put you off, then maybe that could be a reason to reconsider it. The next reason is going to be the heat. Yes, it's amazing. We have 300 days of sunshine on average and average temperatures across the year of 80 degrees, which is amazing when you include the winter in there as well. Summers though can get really hot and our temperatures can go well above 115 for most of July and August. Even now, just at the start of October, our temperature has only really started coming down a little bit and we're in the 60s and the 70s on most days. For most of September, we're still in the high 90s, low 100s, which for some people that sounds like paradise. Now, if you're of an older age and you've got also illnesses that are going to be aggravated by being in a hot environment, or even could be at danger of heat stroke or any of the other actual heat-related illnesses, then maybe Vegas could potentially not work for you. On the flip side, it probably is better than being in somewhere like Florida or Texas, which is another hot market for people retiring, and obviously they are very humid in their climate. But at the same time, if you're going to be putting yourself in a position where if you do suffer from something that's going to be aggravated by the heat, then maybe again you might want to consider moving to Vegas. And I'm going to touch on healthcare a little bit later, but if you have one of those illnesses and then you couple that in with the healthcare here, that could be something that could be off-putting for sure. So maybe again, if that's going to be something that's going to concern you, then maybe think again. The next reason is going to be the cost of living. Now, the cost of living in general in Las Vegas and Henderson is higher than the national average. Las Vegas is just slightly above it, and then Henderson again is even more above it. One of the positives, obviously, though, is there is no state income tax, so at least your pension isn't going to be taxed, or any of the income from your pensions are not going to be taxed from a state level, which is really good. But other than that, we do have some things that do add into our cost of living being sometimes a bit more expensive, and it's certainly increased in even the short time I've been here. In the 3 years I've been here, the cost of living, as I imagine it has across the country, but I think Vegas is where I'm living, so I can only really talk about Vegas, has definitely gone up. Our sales tax is about 8.8%, which is higher than a lot of states. Property taxes are low, but then other things like your car insurance are going to be high, your utility costs are going to be quite high as well. So when you factor every expense in, I think we're still probably slightly higher than a lot of the averages. And if you're going to be on a limited income from your pension, again, cost of living is going to be one of those things that's going to be important to you. I don't think the cost of living here is as bad as some of the other places. And if you're retiring here from California, say, or maybe Oregon, then it's going to be a better option for you in terms of that cost. But maybe from some of the other states, you might want to, do some maths, crunch some numbers and see if that's going to be what could work for you, or if it's going to make money sense for you as well. The next reason is going to be lack of community. I mean, I think Vegas in general suffers from a lack of community, and I think a lot of people, when you retire, some of you really want to be engrossed in a community and part of a community, and that's brilliant. I mean, I'd love to be part of a community. It's why we're thinking about moving to Inspirada. in Henderson. Now, there are some really good active 55 plus communities, and they are really good in terms of fostering that community and doing lots of events that really help have that community and generate that community. But not all neighborhoods are the same, and not all areas of town are going to have that as well. So if you're one of those people that really wants a community, I mean, that's why it's going to be important to reach out to me for a start. I mean, I'll put my details on the screen, but reach out to me and let me know, Peter, we really want to be somewhere where we feel part of a community, whether that's a church community, whether that's a local gardening community, whether that's a local sports community, whatever your community is. You know, if we have those conversations, then we can definitely make sure you're looking at the right types of communities and neighborhoods that are going to work for you and what you want. Some of you might not want a community. Maybe some of you will be like, hey, Peter, I want to be away from people. I want to be close to the mountains. I want walking trails. I want to be able to just walk in peace on my own. And again, I'll recommend the right types of neighborhoods that are going to work for you. But watching these videos will help. And then definitely, when the time is right, reach out to me as well. And I'll make sure that we're looking at the right neighborhoods for you. But overall, I think a lack of community could be a negative for Vegas and Henderson if you are looking to retire here. We'll move on to the next point now, guys, but just as a quick reminder, if you are enjoying this video or any of my other videos and you haven't already, then please like the video. Also, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and tap on the bell for notifications. It absolutely helps my channel grow. I appreciate every one of you that are liking my videos and subscribing to my channel. I'm happy you find my content useful in whatever ways you want it. So definitely a thank you for that. And we're going to move on to the next point now. The next point is going to be healthcare. Healthcare often gets a bad reputation here in the Vegas and you know, the greater Nevada area, if I'm being completely honest with you. Gets a really bad reputation, and some of that is down to access to good healthcare. Some of that is just the healthcare providers. There are some good healthcare providers, so not all providers are going to be awful. But if you're thinking being in that retirement age, and healthcare is always going to be important no matter what walk of life we're in, but as we get older it becomes more of a priority. I'd have a look at Vegas and maybe think the healthcare there isn't as good as some of the other states. Again, you know, from my own experience, I've gone through the bad and had some really bad providers and had some really good providers, which is where I'm at now. It took me a bit of a while to find the good ones. I wouldn't want to know if I was a little bit older and maybe 55 plus. I don't know if I'd want to be messing around trying to find the good ones and the bad ones and going through the bad ones to get to the good ones. I'd rather just have good healthcare. So it can be a bit of a bugbear. I know many people retire here and end up with good healthcare options, so it is possible. But again, I just want you to be completely aware of it before you do completely decide that you're going to retire here. Another reason is the lack of public transportation. I mean, we do have buses and we do have a sort of tram system that sort of goes around the strip as well. But if you're going to be living in one of the nice, peaceful, quiet suburbs, then, you know, the public transport isn't going to be really, if it is existent, it's not going to be really reliable. Sometimes you can wait quite a long time for buses, and even if you're timing it right by what it says online, sometimes they don't come on time. So if you're not driving around and you don't have your own means of transport, I think sometimes it could feel maybe a bit isolated staying in some of your, depending on what area you're in and what community you're in, but sometimes it can feel quite isolated because you can't really get around because you don't really want to drive, or you can't drive. Maybe you're not confident at driving anymore. Whatever the reasons, the reasons are not really relevant. But if you do need public transportation, then it can definitely be a lot harder to live here. I know some cities, it's amazing, they have great public transportation systems, but Vegas and Henderson isn't really at that level. If you're in a good neighborhood where, you know, a lot of things are walkable, so maybe Green Valley Ranch, maybe some parts of Summerlin, then that's not going to be so much of a factor because you'll still be able to get around to most things and still, you know, have a quite a great active and social life, which is going to be fantastic. But if you're thinking, I'm going to move there and I'm just going to use public transportation to get around, maybe that isn't going to work here. So maybe again, that's going to be another reason to reconsider maybe moving here, or maybe again, it's another reason to reach out to me, and I'll add my details there again on the screen, and you can reach out when the time is right, and you can say, Peter, I need to be somewhere where there's good public transportation links, and I'll make sure that, you know, again, we're looking at neighborhoods that fit what you're looking for. So when the time's right, please do reach out. And then the last one is going to be the crime rate. I mean, it's no surprise that Vegas's crime rate is higher than a lot of the rest of the country. Now, a lot of that is concentrated around the strip, and, you know, we obviously attract a lot of tourists who get drunk, can't look after themselves, can't control themselves. So there is a lot of crime that goes on within the sort of strip downtown area. Then there are other parts of town that maybe have more crime than others, and you can check that out on the stats online. And then other parts that are still relatively safe are still not going to be crime free. So in general, the crime rate in Vegas is quite high. I know as someone who's retiring, that's going to be something that's going to be, again, on the forefront of your mind. And if you are worried about the crime rates, then, reach out to me. We can have a conversation offline and we can discuss it in more detail. If you're not sure of the links, we can share my screen on Zoom and I can sort of show you the information that way as well. So then again, you have a more rounded view. I don't think the crime is completely awful in Vegas. We are a big city. Henderson is a big city. But I think it is concentrated mostly, the higher percentage of it is into a certain area. So again, if you do the research and you look up the crime stats, you'll see that they're dotted around the strip and the downtown areas. A lot of antisocial stuff that goes on, a lot of stuff related to alcohol, people being drunk and then obviously getting into trouble. So when you check out where the crimes are happening, then you'll sort of see a pattern. But as a whole, the crime rate here is probably a bit too high, if you ask me. And as someone who's retiring, I mean, I wouldn't want to live somewhere where the crime rate is high, that's for sure. And that's it. That's some reasons why not to retire to Las Vegas. And hopefully you found this video helpful. If you have, let me know in the comments below. If you are thinking of retiring to Las Vegas, then definitely do get in touch. I would love to have the conversation with you offline and we can discuss it more. And, I'll be honest with you, I'll tell you the good and the bad and then let you make the decision, and I'll support whatever decision you make. I'm not going to sell you on the idea of retiring to Vegas, but I'll definitely help you with retiring here if that's something that you're looking to do. And if it isn't going to be something you're looking to do, at least we can have that conversation and you can rule it out once and for all, and there's no problem there whatsoever. My videos aren't there to convince you one way or another. It's to help you have the information that you need. So definitely do reach out. And then just another reminder to subscribe and like my videos as well, guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching, and until the next time, you take care.